Hello, my name is Otis McKinney, and I'll begin my interpretation on communication from pre-K to third grade. Uh, I'm going to be discussing a lot of variables that actually make sense within the school system, and as well as functional activity too, as a whole. So it's going to be more of an inclusive process as well. Okay, what is the process of verbal communication? I'll be talking about the problems of that. What are the developmental stages of communication? What are expressive and receptive and the process skills? Terms, you're going to hear communication, decodes, encodes, expressive skills, uh, feedback, processing skills, and receptive skills. Okay, process of verbal communication. Communication is a two-way process of exchanging information. Verbal communication requires contact and social interaction, which requires a mixture of active communication as well. Steps in the process of verbal communication. The sender encodes the message consistently, determines the best words of transfer of meaning of senders, thoughts and emotions, and backgrounds. The formation of the encode message is called image phase. Now, steps of the process of verbal communication is a variety, a mixture. The sender message is received by the target destination through the sensory of channels: eye contact, hearing, feelings, and smell and taste. Step process of verbal communication. The receiver decodes, determines the underlying meaning. The sent message could be altered by words, variation, gender, or culture or region. So, what that entails is sometimes different genders have a customary way of speaking. This can this can be relatable to kids and adults. The culture has a big influence too, especially within the classroom setting, because two different cultures may have two different meanings on how they communicate. It's kind of like code switching, is what it is. And the region, sometimes, uh, let's say if it's military related, kids may be positioned into a different region of the United States, so they may speak a different dialect in a sense, or they may have a different way of life, and that can affect communication too, especially in, I would say, middle school. Now, steps in the process of verbal communication. Things that may interfere with the receiver or decoding the message, including external noises, daydreaming in the classroom, not paying attention, environmental distractions, a lot of mood and fidgeting around, tone of voice, body language, and etc. Oftentimes, children that have disabilities like ADHD, they may get distracted off the smallest things, or they may be distracted within themselves, or they may not have enough tangible things to do within the classroom, so they have to, I guess, fill that void to do certain things. And steps in the process of verbal communication. Feedback is communication that alerts the sender that message has been received, including conscious response, verbal response, nonverbal response, and uh, no response. Once again, this is relatable to active communication. You know, you can understand if a child is talking to you. I mean, excuse me, the child understands you by the movements in their faces, their hand gestures, the, basically the body language, active communication. And to add, they may mirror you. They may mirror your conversation. They may mirror your body language. They may ask a lot of questions. Things of that nature. Now, the Georgia Standard of Education, Georgia Pre-K curriculum, reading literacy, informal and foundational text is structured into three distinct sectors, which facilitate progression from the introductory stage on in concluding stage. These stages are ongoing and progressive. From pre-K to third grade, each category is structured with steps that include writing, speaking, and listening, all in which are part of literacy scope. The students transitioning from preschool to third grade. The alignment of standards of eighth, through birth through 8 years old of age are directional instructions because these measures support milestones, ensuring the children have starting reference for beginning of their education. The stages of Georgia can help the internal plans to support education for exceptional students with thorough understanding of what is generated from previous objectives that equate to concepts which keep educators involved, or they have a platform to understand how to interact or engage with students that are in general population or exceptional. Now, when you're speaking to the parents, let's say you have to communicate with the parents off and on if you're a teacher or if you're educator of some sort. You have to understand that the parents may come from a different socioeconomic background, so you have to be able to convey a message to them. Excuse me. Sometimes, if the parents have a language barrier that actually hinders you from talking to them, it's advised that you get a translator so you can actually communicate properly. And also, you have to look at the body language too, because different cultures, their body language is different when they convey information to each other. So, to keep it positive, you have to understand that it's wise to invest in knowing who the stockholders are, especially the caretakers of the parents. And that concludes my presentation. Have a nice day.